Hello, this is Galip Talay, Research Director at Sharq Forum. Today we are at Istanbul at Conrad Hotel for the conference organized by Sharq Forum and Afro Middle East Center on Rethinking Violent Extremism in the Middle East. Within the framework of this conference, we have now here with us Azzam Tamimi, who is with Al Hiwar TV, to talk about the political Islam response to the rise of Daesh. So Azzam, welcome.
Thank you.
Previously, the political Islam had an easy time because the forces that it was opposing to were secular, authoritarian regimes that was dominating the political scene in the Middle East and North Africa. But in recent years, political Islam is facing another challenge, which is the group that appeals to Islam for their legitimation, but uses violent methods and ways to get the power in the public sphere. So how the political Islam is going to respond to the challenge posed by new extremist group, which also derives their legitimation based on Islamic theology or the Islamic reading?
Well, thank you very much. I'm delighted to participate in Sharq Forum. This is my first, and I'm delighted to be here. I beg to disagree that political Islam had an easy ride before. I think political Islam, which here probably refers to Islamic movements that believe in peaceful democratic reform and transformation, have always faced formidable challenges. Let's talk first about the ideology of extremism. The response to the ideology of extremism goes back all the way to the early 50s, when Hassan al-Hudaybi, the second murshid or guide of the Muslim Brotherhood, responded to some extremist inclinations within his own group by writing a book called Du'a la Quda, preachers, not judges. In other words, we call people to Islam, but we don't judge them on the basis of assumed intentions. And we continued to see this happening, and major scholars, intellectuals, prominent philosophers associated with the phenomenon of political Islam waged battles, ideological battles that is, to respond to various forms of extremism. I think what is new today is not that we have more extremism or violent extremism. I think the difference today is that political Islam is the underdog. Political Islam is being banned, is being chased, is being put behind bars, is being murdered by the same authorities that claim to fight a war against violent extremism. And this is the real challenge. If I am being chased, if I am being killed, murdered, if I am being dispossessed and banished from my home, is it my duty to stand in the forefront and fight against violent extremism?
It is well understood. It is clear that right now the authoritarian regimes, they uses groups like Daesh as a pretext to suppress the whole political spheres, and particularly democratic political Islam. But still the question remains. You have at the public sphere, appealing to the public, group that derives, supposedly, at least discursively, their legitimization from Islam, but they don't have the political Islam's understanding of the politics society. So how political Islam at the ideological level going to respond to this challenge? When I said that they have relatively easier time when responding to the secular form of the politics, because ideologically they were very different, so therefore it wasn't hard for the political Islam counter the secular form of the politics in the Middle East.
I think in terms of the ideology, we have an abundance of literature that together forms a very powerful response to extreme ideologies or to ideological extremism. But I think the difficulty is that we have a group like ISIS or Daesh that only uses the doctrine as a pretext, but actually it's not religious in its essence. It is socio-political. You can talk about a multitude of factors, and as we've seen from people who contributed different presentations in the conference over the past 2 days, there's been unanimous agreement that Daesh is not a religious phenomenon. It is a socio-political phenomenon, and the response you need to counter this has to be socio-political. Ideology here does very little, although, as I said, we have an abundance of literature.
I see. So it's a socio-political issue, therefore the answer has to be socio-political, not ideological.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Azzam Tamimi, for sparing your time for us.
Thank you.